Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some new updates and some other stuff to discuss today, so let's just jump straight into this video. Starting off, we're talking about a veteran quarterback that we no longer have the option of falling back on. Yes, you may have heard Teddy Bridgewater is no longer going to be a Lion. The Detroit Lions played their Teddy Bridgewater card late last season, as we know, with the team looking for a more reliable backup, not really having faith in Hendon Hooker, and they needed some help behind Jared Goff in the event that he would have gone out for the playoffs. So that won't be an option this year. We don't have that privilege anymore of having Teddy Bridgewater waiting for us to call on him. Bridgewater signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, he's about to sign with them. As long as the physical goes through, he is most likely to sign that contract and remain with them for this year. He's a former first-round pick from the Minnesota Vikings back in 2014. Bridgewater has played games with the Vikings, the Saints, the Carolina Panthers, the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Lions, and now will be the Bucs in his career, right? So he spent the last 2 seasons with the Lions, appearing in just one game. He signed with Detroit last December and immediately became the team's backup behind Goff. So the immediate switch. We didn't have faith in Hooker. We knew that if we were going to be in a position where we needed to win, we needed someone more reliable. And that makes me a little more fearful of Hendon Hooker still being on the team as our technical backup. And now we don't have this option to just go to Teddy Bridgewater, right? As for the Lions, they're currently navigating the competition between Hooker and Allen, but they both were struggling immensely in the last game they played for the Hall of Fame game. I think it's obviously a little too early to panic here, right? Those that did felt safe knowing Bridgewater is always a backup no longer have that option. But is it too late to get someone else? No, I don't think so. I think we still have an opportunity if we want to go pick up someone off a free agency, if we absolutely do need that guy. I think these next few preseason games will absolutely show us what we need to see in order to know, do we need to go pick someone up for a 1-year deal? But I don't think it's necessarily time to start panicking yet. Goff has also been very reliable for us. He's very good about not taking hits, being safe in the pocket, all that kind of good stuff. Knock on wood, let's continue that, Jared Goff, so we don't even have to worry about a backup. But it's definitely time to start thinking about that. Bridgewater didn't sign late until in 2024 because he was also serving as head coach at his old high school, Miami Northwestern, where he won the state title for their first year in his first year in the position, right? Bridgewater became available earlier this year after being suspended due to providing impermissible benefits to the players that included stuff like Uber rides, meals, and recovery services for his players. So he's no longer going to be a coach there. So why do we think he's even going to Tampa Bay in the first place then? I think it's just to be closer to home. I think there's a little less that we know here. I think he might go back and be the coach next year, and he just wants to be around those players. Maybe he just wants to be back closer to home, and Tampa Bay signing him just made it kind of an easy decision for him. He didn't have to go back and forth, right? I think that might be a big reason here. But let's look at his stats. Over his career in the NFL, he's got a 66.4 completion percentage, 15,120 yards, 75 touchdowns, and 47 interceptions, giving him a quarterback rating of 90.5. So he's definitely a solid backup quarterback. He's a solid backup quarterback. And not having him anymore is definitely a little scary for Lions fans, but I don't think we have anything necessarily too bad to worry about for that reason. I mean, he is a backup, right? So it's not like we're like, oh crap, our starter isn't going to be with us for the season. He's a backup. Having a good backup is always good though, so maybe we should start looking at free agency. I think this game against the Falcons and then the 2 other games afterwards are definitely going to show us what we need to know. But that's what that is. I just wanted to touch on that because Teddy Bridgewater has always kind of been our okay, we still got Teddy Bridgewater, and now we got to start thinking a little more. So let me know what you guys think about this. Was Bridgewater that big of a loss to us really, or do you think there's still guys in the free agency that are still worth picking up? So let me know what you guys think. We're going to move into our second topic today. We are talking about this wide receiver 3 spot. I know we've touched on it a few times. It's definitely been a topic we've discussed here, but I think it's definitely worth noting on a little bit more after we've seen some more stuff from our rookie receiver, Isaac TeSlaa. He has reportedly worked his way back into first-team reps, so he's getting in that first-team reps. Meanwhile, veteran Tim Patrick, who's expected to be our wide receiver 3 this year behind St. Brown and Jameson Williams, has apparently been struggling in training camp. TeSlaa is starting to get sprinkled in with first-team offenses. Justin Rogers of the Detroit Football Network reported. With Patrick battling inconsistency, early and Tesla exceeding early expectations, the Lions are exploring what the rookie can do against higher caliber defenders. So they're starting to give him more and more challenges, trying to see what he really can do. Where's his ceiling right now? And so far, he doesn't have one. So far, he's been showing everyone that he can absolutely exceed everyone's expectations, and he's fighting for that spot. Is he going to get it before the season starts? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but I seriously think that he has a chance of grabbing it before the end of the regular season this year. Tesla also showed that he can make an impact on special teams after strong gunner reps on one of the Lions' punts in the contest. So, he's also showing that he's good in this position of being on special teams. He's a team player, but he's really showcasing his speed and size here. I will say, Patrick was a solid contributor last season. He had 394 receiving yards, ranking fifth on the team, which is obviously a huge help for us after we kind of needed help in that position. And what else? However, we've also seen over the years, head coach Dan Campbell doesn't just hand out these big roles to any player just because they're a veteran, right? You have to earn it on this squad. So let's look stat wise. Tesla ran a 4.43 40-yard dash at the combine, which is slightly faster than a young Tim Patrick, who is now 31 years old. So he's already showing that he's got that speed, right? Well, Tim Patrick's big. He's one of those big body receivers. That's what makes him special. Well, Isaac Tesla is no pushover, right? Let's look at his stats. His final season with the Arkansas Razorbacks, he recorded 28 receptions for 546 yards. He averaged 19 and a half yards a catch with 3 touchdowns and a long of 75. So he was averaging 20 yards a catch. It's almost 2 first downs right there. So his value is very good in terms of finding him open, which he tends to be. We saw him in the Hall of Fame game, even though he was just going up against some of these backup DBs, he was still getting open pretty easily for those 2 back-to-back receptions we saw, and he's quick. He is so quick, which is so scary, right? When you have a guy who's that big, who's known for his contested catching, but can get yards after the catch and might even leave you in the dust doing so, that is someone you got to worry about. And I think that's what kind of gives him the edge over Patrick here, is that their size, Tim Patrick's size is really his big thing, is how he's a big body receiver. He can go up and get a big catch if he needs to. But Isaac Tesla is also a big body guy, and his contesting catches is his big thing. The only difference here is that Tesla is showing he's a little bit faster. He's a rookie, so obviously Patrick has more experience, running routes, reading the defense in the NFL. He's got more experience just being there. But I think you give Tesla enough time in this regular season. Maybe we sprinkle him in a few downs here and there, right? So what he can do. He might end up taking this away from Tim Patrick by the end of the regular season late, or by next season altogether. I think this is definitely something to look forward to for Lions fans. It was a good draft pick, in my opinion. I think he's just showing us what he can do, and look forward to more good stuff from Isaac Tesla coming in the future. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. Do you think Tim Patrick's going to hold on to it for the entire regular season here? Do you think we're just going to lean on him a little bit this year, move to Tesla next year once we're absolutely sure? That's kind of what Brad likes to do, but it might be time to make a little bit of splash and just throw him in anyways. Let me know what you guys think down below. We're going to move into our third topic of the day. We are talking about just a couple updates from players who we've touched on in the past. I didn't want to make a whole injury update and then updates on this guy. I just wanted to kind of make this one subject because there's just a few guys I want to talk about. So Ennis Rakestraw's injury is not looking good. We talked about how he suffered a chest injury and then he recovered and came back, and it's like, okay, we got our depth piece back guy now. But he just, in his second year of playing in the NFL, has suffered a shoulder injury in camp right after recovering from that chest injury, and it didn't look good. Head coach Dan Campbell said in a press conference, I think it's going to be a while. So this might be a thing where we don't see him in the beginning of the regular season. We might not see him in the middle of the regular season. I'm not sure what it's going to be. They haven't announced a full timeline for him yet, but Dan Campbell doesn't seem very optimistic about this one, guys. We know depth is a big piece for us on defense, especially with them getting a lot better, a lot more dangerous, and having that guy in the secondary to, back up other guys who might take a big hit is going to be huge. So hopefully we get him back soon. We know we need depth in that position, as every position is important for depth, and not having them guy would be bad. We know at the University of Missouri from 2020 to 2023, he accumulated 107 total tackles, 79 solo, 24 passes defended, 8 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and he also had a sack. So he's no pushover, and I think, with more nurturing and more time here, he has a potential to be a number one guy here, a number one, by number one I mean a starting guy. But for now, he's just one of our good depth piece guys, and we definitely don't want one of our draft picks being injured for the whole season. So hopefully he comes back strong. Someone else on a little lighter note I want to talk about is Jake Bates and how he's looking better than ever in camp. Bates didn't miss a single field goal during Sunday's practice and had an overall great day. Bates looked great Sunday, knocking down all 6 of his attempts in team periods right through the center of the uprights. A big thing was him just inches from the pylon or from the goalposts. Now he's hitting him straight through. He hit 34, 38, 39, 44, 44, and 49 yards per Tim 20, man. So he's looking great. He's looking consistent. And as we know, after making a name for himself in the UFL, after hitting multiple 50-plus yard field goals, Bates signed with the Lions and won the starting job very early on. He's showing no signs of slowing down so far. The 26-year-old proved to be a fantastic signing. He nailed 26 of 29 field goals last year and went 6 of 8 from 50-plus yards. Bates also led the league in extra points made with 64 and nailed 3 game-winning field goals. He's been absolutely clutch. Absolutely great story coming out of UFO. I love to see these success stories. So it's really cool to see that from him. I am super excited to see what he'll do going forward. And he has definitely a chance to establish himself as one of the best kickers in the league next season, as long as he stays consistent and keeps doing what he's doing. I love having Jake Bates in the squad. He's an absolute legend. So really quickly, the last thing I want to talk about here is the quarterback change going into this next preseason game against the Atlanta Falcons on August 8th. So according to head coach Dan Campbell, Hendon Hooker will be getting the start versus the Falcons over Kyle Allen, who started against the Chargers in the Hall of Fame game. I think deservingly so. Both Allen and Hooker were incredibly underwhelming. I don't say overwhelming, underwhelming in the preseason opener. However, Hooker didn't really get as much time against the Chargers, and now he's going to get the start against Atlanta. And I think it's the correct decision. He still has yet to really prove himself as the backup, even though he still is. But like I said, he didn't get very many opportunities against the Chargers, so this could be his chance. In 6 pass attempts in the Hall of Fame game, Hooker completed 3 for 18 yards and an interception, which was at the end of the game after it was already decided, so it wasn't a huge thing, but still an interception is not good for your stat line. And he hasn't really lived up to his expectations as a 3rd-round pick, but he has a massive chance to showcase his abilities, and I'm hoping that for flip switches and Hendon Hooker can be our guy, so we don't even need to go look for that backup now that Teddy Bridgewater's gone. I think that's the big thing to look at here. But let me know what you guys think. Is Hendon Hooker end up going to be the guy? What do you think he's going to do against the Falcons? Yeah, I think honestly it's a crapshoot right now. It could be either or. But I really think we do need to keep keeping our options open for a backup quarterback. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about those little 3 topics I talked about. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And we're going to move quickly into our last discussion. We're just talking about some more of your comments because you guys had some really good ones this time, and I want to touch on them. So One Pride Worldwide said, kind of making me wish we had picked up Shedeur Sanders when he was available. Laughing emojis. I can't keep a straight face while typing this. Yeah, I get it. It's a joke, right? Shedeur Sanders fell, probably for a good reason, right? But now that we're looking at it, is it that much of a joke? Could we have maybe picked him up? Because it's like, oh, well, is he going to be any good as Hendon Hooker? Well, Hendon Hooker's getting older and still hasn't really proved himself. Why not get another guy in the rotation, right? Just another guy to show what he can do, especially with a product like him who can absolutely improve and has a pretty high ceiling. We didn't do it obviously, but it kind of would have been cool to see him in a Lions jersey. I know a lot of you disagree, but I think, having a guy in the rotation, next guy up, seeing what he can do, that's kind of been what the Lions have done. And I know we don't need any bargain bin picks anymore, but still kind of been cool to see if he could have been the guy to back up Goff this season. But like you said, it was definitely a long shot, and I think that is a funny comment. Thank you for your comment, One Pride Worldwide. Once ago, one said, "You are wrong. The Lions offense is going to grind it out and make what people may call those mundane plays extraordinary." Gibbs lined up at wide receiver with D-Mont in the backfield, J-Mo on the short routes to mix it in with those explosive plays. Scary. Get them Lions. This was in response to what I said about if we're going to be more exciting this year or less exciting. And I think you're absolutely right here. I think, after thinking about it, there's just going to be a lot of new stuff. Defenses aren't going to be necessarily ready for it because they're going to be ready for all Ben Johnson shenanigans. But You're right. When we have star players, they are going to make those kind of meh plays look a lot better, especially with guys like Jahmyr Gibbs. I agree with you there. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is absolutely going to shock us this season and make some crazy explosive plays, especially with JMO as well. You're right on that one once ago. One, thank you for correcting me. And we're going to move on to our last comment from Go Fast. He says, as a college coach, Morton led the league and had a leading rushing team in the country. So I wasn't sure if with our new offensive coordinator, we're going to get as many rushing yards this season. But you guys all let me know that he's known to rush as well, and if he's leading in rushing one year as a college coach, I retract my statements. We are still going to see Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery ball out this season. I'm absolutely excited. Thank you for your comments, guys. I appreciate the ones that even correct me. I don't know everything, and you guys got some ball knowledge down in the comments, so I always appreciate it. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching Lions Latest. If you made it to this part of the video, let me know what you guys think about wide receiver 3, who's going to end up taking it. I really want to hear your opinions there. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell so you never miss a video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.